Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of TA with MK. My name is MK, and in today's episode, we're going to do a quick part 2 or a follow-up to a recent video that I made. In fact, I made it yesterday on the leverage or futures trading on the KUCOIN platform. Now, that video for 90 to 95% of people should be enough to get you a brief introduction on how to do the trading on that platform, how to actually leverage trade, understanding what leverage means, and so on and so forth. So I'll leave a link in the description for that. If you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend watching it first, because in this video I just intend to tie up some of the loose ends. I wanted to dive a little deeper into the terminology, the different words that you'll see or phrases that you see within leverage and futures trading, what they mean, things like liquidation price and so forth. And I did briefly explain a lot of that in the last video, but there was just a few that I didn't go over too much in depth. So I wanted to do that in today's video. Also, I wanted to kind of show you how to manage a trade as far as how to take profits and percentages, things like that. I also didn't go over in the other video. I did explain how to close out a trade using limit or market, preferably limit, of course. But I didn't explain how you could do it as far as in percentages, things like that. So in today's video, I'm just going to tie up those loose ends. And if you're liking the content, please remember to like and subscribe, and let's go. It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. All right, now we're going to start me off down on the bottom right of the screen, and that's normally where I am when I'm doing regular YouTube videos, or the bottom left sometimes as well. However, as we get into this, just like my video from yesterday, I'll probably end up putting myself in kind of a weird spot, so it takes up the least important part of the screen, so to speak. So to start out, we're going to go to KUCOIN.com, KUCOIN.com. Obviously, you're going to log into your account. And just like in yesterday's video, we're going to head over here to derivatives. If you don't understand, or if you don't have money yet in your futures account or derivatives, please see the link in the description for yesterday's video to go ahead and learn how to do that, how to transfer money over to there. For today's video, we're just going to assume you've already got money in there, and we're just diving a little deeper into this style of trading, right? So we're going to go down here to Futures Classic under Derivatives. Go ahead and let that load up. Now, we're going to quickly just use the first one that pops up, which is Bitcoin. I opened a position when I was laying in bed this morning, just so I'd have something to show you guys when I went to make the video. And we're just going to go down here to the bottom left, and I just want to briefly explain more in detail today what each of these terms mean. So the first one here says contracts. Now, this would be the coin that you're trading, right? And the reason why it says BTC Perpetual, one thing I did not explain in yesterday's video, which I'm going to quickly explain, is the difference between a futures trade and trading with a perpetual contract. Is futures has an expiration date, meaning that you are betting on the price to go up or down over a certain period of time, but at some point there will be settlement when that date is reached, whereas perpetual, as long as it hasn't been closed out by either a stop loss, which would be your doing, or a liquidation price, would just be the price going the wrong direction that you were betting on too far based on your leverage, and it closing it out that way. As long as it hasn't met those conditions, this contract, perpetual, can stay open indefinitely, so forever essentially. Now, the next one over from left to right is a little more confusing, but I'll do my best to quickly explain it. So amount and value go hand in hand. This would be the amount, or what my position is worth in the asset, and USDT, which is what obviously I bought the asset with, or what I will receive my, either I'll pay my debt with, or I will receive my profits in. But this is based on the amount that I actually put into the position and what leverage I used. And what I mean by that is if I was using zero leverage, right now, $900.06 and $906.53 would buy me, with Bitcoin's current price, this amount of Bitcoin, right? And that fluctuates as Bitcoin goes up or down. Now, if you weren't trading with leverage and you just went to the spot trading section and you bought right at this exact moment $906 worth of Bitcoin, it would give you this amount, right? Well, the whole idea of leverage trading is you're trying to trade with an amount higher than you actually have to potentially maximize more gains, or of course more losses. So that's based on, so now over here when I get to this part, which I can actually just skip ahead right now, where it says margin leverage, this $174.09, which is fluctuating every so little bit as Bitcoin goes up or down as well, this is the amount that I'm actually risking in the trade. But I'm using this leverage down here of around 5, right? So if you take this $173 and times it by a 5.21, that would then come up with this value over here of $906.38. So basically, I'm using $173 to trade with a position size or a value size of $906. So everything Bitcoin does up or down, my profits are going to be based on as if I was trading $900, even though I'm only trading $175. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, now moving over to the right from there, we have entry price. This one's fairly obvious. This is just the price in which you entered the trade. I guess the only thing to know about that as a side note is obviously that entry price will change if you DCA or add multiple entries on the same asset. And what I mean by that is, let's just say I did $1,000 on a short at Bitcoin at the entry price of 20,000 even, and then I added to that exactly another $1,000 when Bitcoin reached $19,000 even. Well, it's going to change my entry price to the average of those two, which would be 19,500. And so, and as you add other entries to your same position or DCA into them, then it's just going to change that to whatever the new entry price is. Now, moving over to the right from there, we have mark price. Mark price is just what the current price of the asset you're trading is, or the crypto you're trading, right? So right now, I could look at this to see Bitcoin is currently $20,113 and some odd change, right? All right, now this next one is the big one. It is the liquidation price. This is the one that exists for you to understand that leverage trading is not too good to be true, and this is why. Now, with each of these contracts, it depends on what leverage you're using, but obviously it's going to come up with a liquidation price. That means if the price goes the opposite direction as what you were planning on it to do, around 97%-ish, as I explained in yesterday's video, they'll come up with this price that will liquidate or close your entire position, right? And the only way you can avoid liquidation is either having a stop loss in place that is triggered beforehand, that just cuts your losses, as they say, and we'll go over that in a minute, or you add to the position with using, adding to your margin, which I'll also explain in a minute. But otherwise, just assuming that you didn't do either, this is where people lose the majority of their money is trading. In the case of this position that I have open, it's saying that I opened at around 19,990, so close to 20K. Obviously I'm hoping for Bitcoin or planning for Bitcoin to drop back down to 19 or 18 something and make profits that way. But if I left this position open all the way till Bitcoin pumped up to $23,886, I would lose this entire amount over here of around $175. Okay, now the next one over is pretty obvious as well. This one's just what your margin is, or how big your position, what you've actually risking on the trade, right? And I explained in yesterday's video that I don't 100% understand why it ever so slightly fluctuates as it goes, but for the most part, it's staying right around what I put in there, which was $175-ish. The leverage kind of changes ever so slightly as well. I don't really understand that, and hopefully in a future video I can clear that up. However, I haven't noticed the liquidation price to change, so I'm not entirely sure why those numbers are changing. But just know that whatever you first clicked over here, whatever it was showing on the right underneath, cost on either side, whether you were longing or shorting, that is the amount that you ultimately is the most you can lose, right? Outside of if you add to your position. Now, the next one over to the right from that is the unrealized P&L. And just so you know, P&L just stands for profit and loss. And the reason why it's unrealized is because I have the position still open. I have not closed it. If I closed it, whatever this amount was, positive or negative, would then become realized profit or loss. In this case, it would be a loss. If I closed right now, I would lose around $4, right? And then to the right of that, you have a realized profit and loss, and this is just your fees. And I wanted to quickly just read to you what KUCOIN has on their website for what they do charge for fees. All right, it says KUCOIN offers a tiered maker-taker fee model with trading fees ranging from 0.0125% to 0.1%, depending on your tier level. Now, I didn't dive into what the tier levels mean, but just you could do that on your own, do your own research there. But its fees are relatively low compared to its competitors, which would be the other exchanges, right, like Binance, Bybit, and so forth, which may charge up to 0.5% per trade. Users can also get trading fee discounts based on their KUCOIN token balance, which KUCOIN offers a thing where if you are holding their actual coin, which is KCS is the ticker, depending on the amount that you're holding, you can get a discount. It depends on the amount you're holding, what that discount is. But a lot of people that use KUCOIN on a regular basis, especially if they're trading on their high volume all the time, will hold on to that coin just because it will save them a ton of money in fees. Now, the next one over, I went over in yesterday's video, so I'm only going to go over it very quickly today, and this is take profit and stop loss. In today's video, I want to explain the better way to take profits, as far as a lot of people like to scale out of positions in percentages, and that's going to be using this limit over here to the right, which I'll go over in just a second. So for take profit and stop loss, I only use this section for my stop loss, and it's very, very simple to do. You just click this little green note pad looking icon. And then right here on the bottom of this little box that comes up, it says stop loss. You just type in the price that you want it to close out your position at. So in this case, let's just say that I wanted to close it out at 21,058. Let's say I had done TA and decided that, hey, if Bitcoin breaks back over 21K, that's going to invalidate the whole reason I am shorting the coin at the moment. I want to just get out of the position and cut my losses, which is the point of a stop loss, right? To lose less money this way than to let it go all the way to your liquidation price potentially, which would lose your entire position. So if we put this 21,058, before I even confirm it, it tells me down here what my estimated loss will be. It says if Bitcoin goes up to that price of 21,058, it will trigger a market order and I'm projected to lose around $48. I can confirm that, and now it's going to put that right here on the side that says stop loss. I can click that later if I want to cancel it and adjust it, change it, or if I just want to double check what my potential loss in this case would be. Just to the right of that, you have auto deposit margin. Now this is not something I personally use, but if you were DCing into a low leverage, midterm hold position and you were planning on keeping it open for maybe months and months, and you had the confidence that you were using low enough leverage, but at the same time, you do realize there's the risk that it could hit your liquidation price. If you turn this on, all it's going to do, and I'll even just read to you what it says. It says, once enabled, when the mark price reaches the liquidation price, the system will add a margin to your position for your available balance automatically to prevent from being liquidated. Now, I have no clue how much it adds or how it figures that because I've never used this, so you may want to do your own research on this, but essentially all it's going to do is if I had that enabled, rather than if this hits the 23,886 in this case, rather than it just taking my entire money and closing out my position, it would just take money from my balance over here on the right of 3,500 and just add whatever I guess it feels is necessary to stop me from liquidating and keeping my position open, right? And at that point, it would also change my entry price because it would be forcing me to enter at that liquidation price with X amount of money that it determines. Therefore, it would lower my average and keep my position open as long as I have that clicked. It would just continue to do that, I guess, until I ran out of all this money, if it just kept going up in that case. All right, last but definitely not least, I've moved my ugly mug out of the way to just quickly explain to you how you can take profits on KuCoin. Now, the most annoying thing that I found on KuCoin as it stands right now, and I don't know if I'm just wrong, and if I am, someone please leave me a comment in the comment section, but KuCoin does not allow you to have a stop loss in place and multiple take profit levels in place. So what I mean by that is the only feature that KuCoin that I found that allows you to take profits in percentages would be this limit. And what I mean by that is if I click this limit, it brings up where I can put in a price. Let's say 19,200. I wanted to close, and this is telling me what percentage of my overall position do I want to close. Let's just say I want to close half if Bitcoin goes down to 19,200. Tells me my estimated profits are around 17 bucks. Well, once I hit confirm, it pops up this other box that says I basically need to cancel my my stop loss. So I hit OK, and now it took that away. Now it does show it's going to close half my position at 19,200. However, I think a stop loss is always the most important thing to have in place because you just never know what could happen with this volatile crypto market. So I'm going to cancel that now, go back in here and set my stop loss again, right? 21,058 tells me my estimated loss and confirm. So you have two options, and I'm going to briefly explain this as quick as possible of how you can handle your profits. We'll start with the more complicated option, and that is to just have an alert set on Tradingview or your Tradingview app on your phone, on the computer or your phone. So when it hits that price, for this example of 19,200, it sets me an alert. Then I can hop over on my phone and go ahead and click this limit and close out 50% of the position, or even use market if the market's not super volatile. I may lose out on a few cents potentially of my gains, or maybe I get lucky and make even more than I expect, but at any rate, you could do it that way. And then of course it'll cancel out your stop loss, but you'll close out half your position, and then you can reset your stop loss. Or obviously, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, if you just plan on closing out the entire position at once, that is possible. You just click this and it brings up this spot up here that says entry price, liquidation price, and where you want to put your take profit. So let's say at $19,201, I wanted to close the whole position. Now these percentages down here might make you think that that's intended to be, oh, if I hit 50%, that's going to give me 50% of the position is going to close. No, I do believe what this is standing for is just profits. Like if I wanted to make 25% profits, this is telling me that I would want to have the price go to this and that'd be 25% profits on my $174 because $44 is 25% of that. You take $45 and times it by 4, you're coming up with roughly, you know, this 175, whatever, right? So that's all this means, and so I don't use this as far as these percentages go anyways. I just put down the price that I want to close my trade based on my TA. It tells me my estimated profit will be 35 bucks. I hit confirm, and now you have a stop loss in place and a take profit. Just keep in mind that take profit will close out your entire position. And then just as a quick reminder, I will leave a link in the description to the video I made yesterday that goes over everything on this platform that gets you to this point over here of actually having a trade open, right? How to navigate the coins, how to use the order book, how to actually place the order over here using limit, what the leverage actually means based on the leverage amount, 1x, 3x, 5x, 10x, and so forth, and how to check the cost over here to see what you're actually risking on any given position. So to learn a lot more about the actual platform of how to open a trade start to finish, check the link in the description for that. All right, my good friends, that should be just enough information to turn you loose to go ahead and lose all your money. Just kidding. But no, being a little more serious, just always keep in mind that leverage trading or futures trading is high risk. See the disclaimer in the beginning, or my little rant in the beginning of my part 1 video to get a little more information on how, you know, I feel overall about leverage trading as far as it relates to risk. Just want you guys to be careful out there, and as always, if you're enjoying the content, please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow. It's